Welcome back. I'm going to be shoutcasting this the final game between JDG and LGD in the Demacia Cup 2017. Last game, we had LGD coming back from a 1-0 lead. Oh, scratch that. There's an evade going in. Shin's going to face check the bush, and he takes a lot of CC. The rest of his team didn't follow him in, didn't commit with him, and it looks like he's going to pay for it. He gets Ignite. Let's see if anyone's going to flash over him. He gets flashed, four-shotted by Jin. Jin finishes him off for the team. You know, it looked like it was going to be a clash between two teams, but Shin went in there by himself, and the rest of his team did not want to back him up, did not think that was a good idea. So Shin ends up going down. A first blood comes out for the Jin AD carry. That's definitely something that Jin wants in this game. You know, JDG, they're coming off a loss. You know, in the early momentum such as this is really going to help their morale if they're having any morale problems at the moment. So it seems that Rengar and Ornn have found their way into the enemy jungle and are going to take away that blue buff. There's no vision around there, but it looks like Camille's going to spot them out, going to come down and check, see what's going on. We'll see if she wants to put any damage on them. It's 2 versus 1. I think Ornn's going to be able to, but at least Camille was able to get some vision of what's going on in the Rengar, so Sejuani can make the appropriate response, because if that was a blind steal, it would have been very difficult for Sejuani to make the appropriate response to that. So with JDG's team, it's looking like a team that they're going to want to split push. They have 2 really big split push threats on the JDG team. Not to mention they have 2 teleports to get across the map with. They have Camille and Kasten. Both champions are really good in the late game, especially when it comes to split pushing. So it seems like what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to make some picks, and get some objectives off the man advantage, get some deep vision, so on and so forth. And, you know, we had an Alistar last game, but that was PYL playing the Alistar. He got his Draven ahead and just completely destroyed the rest of the map. So we'll see if LV Mal has the same sort of performance with Alistar, because JDG could definitely use that kind of performance in their Alistar. Aimi is waiting for Sejuani to walk into the bush and face check the push, and he does. And Rengar is feeling confident in the fight. It was a little bit of a visual glitch for me right there. I don't know if it was me or if it was the stream. However, Sejuani knows she does not want to fight a Rengar early on, so Rengar gets some pressure, gets some early dominance, is able to come out in an early game CS lead. It's not too big, but it's there. Rengar and his bot lane are coordinating to get some deep vision into that quadrant of the jungle, so working very well. Bot lane and the jungle working very well together. Another thing that I'm interested to see if LGD puts as much emphasis on the Drake securing the Drakes as it did the previous 2 games. The first game they had 2 Oceans and 2 Infernals, and this game they had, the first game they had those. The second game they had a bunch of Drakes too. So I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing this game. Let's talk about the win conditions of LGD's team in contrast to JDG's team. LGD looks like they're going to want a team fight. They're going to be a team fight team. They got Kliss, they got Ryze, they got, Rengar can make picks, but it looks like overall they're going to want to look for the 5v5 fights and contested objectives. Sejuani's sitting back here waiting for an engage to happen. So Alistar pulverizes Shin and headbutts him back. Shin dashes away trying to get away, but he gets CC'd. He's blocking a lot of attacks with his ability, but it looks like he's going to go down. He gets CC'd and he gets killed by Sejuani. So it's very unfortunate positioning from Shin at the worst time possible. Steps up just a little bit too far, gets pulverized by Alistar, and he dies. He didn't have flash because of the level 1 first blood from the JDG. So Sejuani's able to make some good plays on the bot lane and take advantage of that the lack of flash from Shin from that early mistake going into that face check in that tri-bush. As a split pushing team, they definitely want to get out to an early game advantage. They definitely want to, because I'm not saying that. They have some pretty good scaling champions. Camille and Kasten do scale in the late game, but in the mid to late game, the red team are going to be a lot better at team fighting. So they want to be able to avoid that by pushing the pace, by making sure they're the ones setting the pace of the game and making the moves around the map and making LGD respond to what they're doing. And they're doing a good job of that so far with the 2 early plays from the Sejuani and the rest of the team. Now, speaking of Sejuani, she's in the mid lane looking for a Ryze pick with Alistar, but Ryze is playing very safe. He knows something's fishy, so he backs off without injury. I notice the CS lead between Rengar and Sejuani. You know, this is definitely something that is expected out of this matchup. You know, Rengar is very powerful in the early game, especially when it's compared to a tank jungler. If it was someone like a Lee Sin, he probably wouldn't be able to bully him around that way. But with the tank jungler, they want to farm, they want to scale up, they want to team fight. They want to get into the mid game, the late game. But you know, so Rengar can just basically bully her as much as she wants without going too aggressive and getting punished by the rest of the team. Speaking of bullying Sejuani, Rengar's looking to get some vision in that jungle. He already has some vision in that jungle, so he looks like he wanted to try to make something happen, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to. Sejuani is playing safe. She knows the power unbalance in this situation right now, so she is making sure she doesn't feed the Rengar and give him unnecessary power. But Rengar knows where the Sejuani is going, so he's definitely pressuring Sejuani a lot. Sejuani is definitely feeling this pressure from Rengar. Doesn't know if Rengar wants to come and try to take his blue buff, but they saw that Cassidy went back, so Ryze is coming over to Rengar to help him try to get that blue buff. Sejuani decides she wants no part of it, and she's going to get out of that side of the jungle, let them get the blue buff. Does not want to contest it with Cassidy. Cassidy is level 6 though, so he could have possibly fought. However, it looks like they're going to get the blue buff for free. JDG does not want to contest that. They're not confident in their early game strength right now. Cassidy had just hit level 6, so you have to pick your battles in these instances. Every other lane is going pretty even. You know, you'd expect the Cassidy to get get a disadvantage in the CS, but he's holding on decent amount. You know, Cassidy pre-level 6 has a hard time last hitting against a ranged champion. That's just how it unfolds usually with this kind of matchup. So the fact that he's been able to stay somewhat close, about 15-20 CS, that's pretty bad, but I mean, that's a lot of gold, but it's about what is expected from this matchup. He's trying to buy the time, trying to make sure he doesn't die until the late game, where he can split push, make picks, so on and so forth. So looks like LGD is putting a lot of resources in the top and putting pressure on Camille and this turret. They want to dive her, but Camille sees them because there's a ward there. But that means they're going to be able to get a lot of damage on this turret. JDG is significantly behind in this play. We'll see if Sejuani wants to go for the Drake or the turret. It looks like they're going to go for the Drake. They're going to give up this first brick for the Infernal Drake. This is taking away the first Drake from LGD. It's definitely a change of pace compared to the previous games. But you know, they were not going to be able to get that turret, so this is the only thing they could do. You know, they don't want to let something go without getting something of their own. So good on Sejuani and the rest of the team for being ready to take that. But Warren teleports in and tried to look for a fight. Kalista comes in and almost gets a knock-up on Jhin, and Shin hits a ton. But Kalista is taking a lot of CC. She can't follow up just at the moment. But Shin's doing a ton of damage with Ignite, and Jin's getting really low, but it looks like he's going to be able to back off, run away. So he lives with his life. He has to flash away. He doesn't heal just yet, but that was a very ambitious engage from Jinnu, teleporting in after the fact, after they've already gotten Drake, and trying to make a fight happen with his ultimate, his very long-range ultimate. It almost worked, and it forced the flash of Jhin, so maybe they'll be able to capitalize on his lack of flash like they capitalized on Shin's lack of flash earlier. But that's teleport down on Ornn, and Camille's teleport is about to come up, so she will have the teleport advantage. Maybe she'll be able to make a more effective play. But in all these early game shenanigans, even despite being down 2 kills, LGD is still ahead in gold. Very impressive stuff from LGD. Being able to keep their cool and stay in the game despite giving away 2 free kills early on. Kalista going Ninja Tabi. Definitely want to get that extra auto attack defense in lane, and plus against the Camille. Late game Camille does a lot of damage with their auto attack, so that is definitely going to be a useful pickup by Kalista. A little bit of damage is coming on Castanen, but Ornn is in the wings, but he decides not to make that big of an engage. He does not have his ultimate yet, so he doesn't have that many tools to engage. Right now, it's just looking like a little bit of stalemate. People are battling for vision all across the map. Every lane is pretty close to even. You know, we got the ring guard that's pretty ahead of the Sejuani's making, but we got the top lane who's Camille's a little bit ahead of Ornn. But overall, people are saying pretty in quite punching distance in terms of goal and in terms of lead. LGD is trying to get this Rift Herald, trying to get the other neutral objective that has not been taken yet. Trying to help them push down the turrets, make sure that the team that has the split pushers and the people who want to make the picks don't have it. So they don't, you know, a team like that having Rift Herald is very problematic for LGD. So good on them for picking it up when they had the chance. A lot of pressure spent making sure this Camille can't dominate this lane. She is ahead in CS, but it's good that she's not too, like, it's good that she hasn't gotten a turret. She hasn't gotten a second turret. It's good. It's good that they've been pushing her. They've gotten that turret. They've been pushing her back so she can't make that big of an impact in the split push. But everyone in the blue team is coming down to the bot lane. Cassidy turns back and goes to the mid lane. But it looks like a big fight's about to happen in the bot lane. LGD, I don't know if this is coming, but this is going to be very. Alistar's coming from behind. He's going to try to turret dive them while Camille comes up in the front. This is getting tricky. I wonder if they see this coming. It seems like they smell it a little bit, but they're not sure because they don't have a ward in the tri-bush. Plus, they're going to put a ward in there and they spot him out. And Camille showed up in lane, so they know to abandon that turret, to let it get destroyed by them. But Rengar put the Rift Herald in the mid lane. They're going to try to respond. They're going to try to rotate into the mid lane, put their manpower in the mid lane, and try to trade turrets. We'll see how well Cassidy is going to defend, which is not at all. So they're able to trade turrets, and Camille is not able to get a kill with her roam. Very good rotations. You know, the Rift Herald pickup from Rengar paying dividends right now. And now they're going to take the blue buff once again from Sejuani and Cassidy. Taking away blue buff from Cassidy is very important in a game like this. You know, when Cassidy gets blue buff, he can pressure people really hard. He can run around the map. He can be everywhere and do some damage to people who cannot stand up to him right now. He has completed the Rod of Ages, so he's looking pretty good right now. He's looking pretty strong right now, so it's a good thing that he's not getting the blue buff to help him out, help his mana pool out even more. So the game's slowing down a little bit. We saw the Draven come out against Kalista twice in a row. I didn't see the pick and ban phase, so I don't know if it was banned or picked, but, you know, this time LGD, having picked Draven twice in a row, they opt in for the Kalista pickup this time. They're looking to scale. The previous two games, they were trying to force the pressure, try to force the objectives, and they got early leads. But this game is completely different from their previous two games, because now they're behind in kills at least. They lost those two kills early, and now they're looking to be the ones who can scale a little bit, who can fight in team fights. You know, they're feeling pretty good right now even without scaling. But that's their win condition in this fight. They want to be able to team fight. They want to be able to start fights and stop the disengage. And it's looking pretty good for them right now. JDG needs to make something happen soon, or else the game's gonna slowly slip away from them. Which, if you saw the first two games, you know not to give up on JDG very easily, because they will fight till the end. Looks like Red Team looking to put a lot of pressure in the bot side quadrant, trying to get some vision around that Drake and get some pressure on the bot lane turret. They want a team fight. They want to group up. That's exactly what they're doing right now. I don't know how confident JDG is in taking a fight around Drake. It might be best to let it go unless they can find a pick, unless they can find a start to the fight that's advantageous to their win condition. A lot of pings are coming out in the bot lane. It looks like there's about to be a huge fight. Shin's going to face check the tri-bush again, but they know he's there because Rengar ulted and he goes obliterated. He face checks the bush and gets obliterated. Now Jhin ult is coming out, hitting Shin a couple of times, but Shin gets ulted by Kalista and he hits a knockup, and now Ornn's in the fight. Going to try to save Ryze. He hits Sejuani with a knockup, but Ryze is getting 4 people on him. He's going to go down that's 2 people down for LGD. Now the third person is going to go down to Jhin. Kalista is going to go down for sure. So a good team fight for JDG. One step ahead of LGD. LGD thought that they were going to get the jump on them, but it was the other way around. Another face check into the tri-bush, going very poorly for LGD. Now that's the kind of stuff I was looking for. You know, they can't win a 5v5, but that was not a 5v5. what happened is they played the vision well. They played the map well, and they were able to get the start to a fight that they wanted, like I was saying earlier. But here comes a get engaged from Orin and Shin. Someone's teleporting behind them. That is the Rise teleporting behind them, and they want to. And they come up behind him and they want to get some kills. They don't want to let that loss of the team fight stick. So they're able to get one kill, the first kill of their team of the game. Cassidy joins the fight, and now they're on the retreat. They want to disengage this now, and Cassidy's going to run them down, going to ult them over and over again. It doesn't look like he's going to ult it. And now Rengar goes down too, so that's 2 people down so far. Now Red Team is fighting back. Kalista putting a lot of damage on 2 people. He's able to take 2 people down. Now he's running down Jin and Jin and Camille, but they were able to disengage themselves. So very back and forth fight right there. A lot of overreaching and a lot of punishment for that overreaching. It went back and forth a couple times right there. But now LGD is looking to put some damage on that turret because they're on top now. So they're looking to put some damage on that. But Jin is there, and now Camille is there playing aggressive, and the Kalista and Rise are saying, we don't want any more of this. We're done. Let's reset. Let's collect our thoughts and go back into the rift and try this again. So in theory, LGD was setting up the vision around Drake very well. They probably should have just went for Drake and forced it around Drake, not try to get in that the tri-bush. You know, another face check in the tri-bush causing them a lot of problems. They probably would have been better just grouping up and getting that Drake, securing an objective, and trying to force JDG to fight them on their terms. But instead, JDG was able to find a fight on their terms instead. And because, you know, they want to make the picks, they want to be the ones to engage a fight. They did well. That's exactly what they were looking for. Looks like Kalista is rushing Blade of the Rune King. So it looks like she's going to go for a Rune Ends next. Pretty standard build from as far as that. Jin opting into the lethality build. Going Yumu's and Dusk Blade. You know, Jin in the last two games, AD carry has been the major damage in both teams. But this time, Jin has competition with the Cassin and the Camille. So he can afford to build that lethality. He can afford to go Jin even. It looks like Yuki and Emi are going to be able to get this turret. Let's see if Cassin's going to be able to return a turret up in the top lane. Looks like they are. Turret for turret, 1-for-1 trade as far as turrets go. And JDG has found themselves about 1,500 gold ahead. Very good change in pace as far as, because last 2 games they've been behind in the early game, and they've had to rely on their scaling. They've had to rely on LGD making a mistake, but now they're the ones pressing the envelope. They're the ones pressing the action and making things happen. And LGD is the team that's trying to respond, and that's a very welcome change of pace for JDG, I'm sure. Now LGD is looking. The Baron has spawned 24 seconds ago, so they're setting up vision around Baron because they do have Kalista, so they can secure it very well with the Smite and the Rend. But then again, last time, if you remember the first game, someone had Rengar and JDG were actually the ones who had Rengar and Kalista, but they still somehow had their Baron stolen. And now Red Team was able to find a fight because someone face checked the bush like they did before, but now it's 1-for-1. Kalista is in the backline untouched, doing a lot of damage. Cassidy jumps in, and now it's 1-for-1 so far. So people are Kalista gets another kill, gets 2 more kills, so that's 3-for-1 so far. Orin almost went down, but actually able to survive, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. LGD wants to find their fight, and this time they were actually able to capitalize on someone face checking in the bush. And now 3 people jump on Alistar, and it doesn't look like Alistar is going to be able to. He doesn't have it ult, so he can't shrug any damage. And Rise Rise teleports the whole team onto him. There's nothing he could do about that. He's going down. He was being a little bit too upfront, too forward. But now they're looking for the Baron. They're looking to secure it. Rengar and Orin are coming back from the base, so there is going to be a smite available. We'll see how well Rise and Shin are able to tank this for Kalista. They have a smite, even if they don't have a smite, because Rend can secure the Baron just as well as a smite can. unless you're JDG in the first game. It looks like they are aware of the upcoming enemies, so they want to back off. They got pressured away from Baron. The timing wasn't exactly there for them, so they have to forget about Baron for another day. A lot of items coming out for the red team. They got the Runans for the Kalista. They got the Locket Arcelari for Sin. And Sejuani, it has to face check for the vision. See, the thing about JDG is LGD played this vision perfectly because they destroyed all the vision around it. So someone had to face check to get vision on Baron so they could see if they were doing it or not, so they could potentially stop it. But and because LGD got the vision, they knew that, so they camped in the bush and they baited and they bet on JDG doing exactly that. So they were able to find a good fight and get themselves back some gold, some kills, and almost got Baron. So it's looking that's the kind of stuff LGD wants to continue doing over the course of this game. Ornn is hitting, everyone in the red team is scaling up. Ornn has been doing pretty well. He's almost caught up in CS to Camille. And here comes a fight. Ornn throws out an ultimate, knocks up 2 people. Camille's knocked up in the background. Kalista is in the background, untouched so far. Gets a stun from Outstarter almost, but not actually. And now Rengar's looking to assassinate someone in the backline. 2 people of red team are low. And Rengar takes an ult for Camille, and he goes down for free. And Kalista's still trying to put in a lot of damage, but it doesn't look like she's going to be able to do much. And it's 3 for 2 so far, and Kalista trying to kite it out, but she's not going to be able to. Camille kills her, and that's going to be an ace for JDG, and surely that means Baron as well. So what turned out to be an engagement, a poor engagement from LGD, JDG were able to capitalize with the Camille, with the casting. They can run you down, they can dash you, they can CC you, and if you make a bad engagement, as LGD did, that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what did happen, and now JDG are on the Baron, looking to win this match because they've been looking very good this game, and they're in the position this is their game to lose at this point. So you saw the ult comes out and only hits 2 people, and it only hit the people that they didn't want to. Shin was in the backline. He got ulted by Kalista, and Rengar was over here trying to assassinate someone, but they saw him right there, and he was like BMing or something, and Camille just hit it with a stun in an ultimate randomly, so Rengar didn't do a single thing in that fight. It was basically a 5v4. And at that point, because of that bad engage, JDG was just able to run them down, able to capitalize significantly on the mistake of LGD. LGD is not out of this game though. They have the team fighting team still. If they can find a fight, they can ace just as well as they did. They're getting Ocean Drake. That will definitely help. JDG has an Ocean Drake themselves, so evening that up is definitely going to help in the extended fights. So now LGD is trying to reset, try to find a team fight like they got around the Baron before. Rengar did not really do much. He's kind of fallen off at this point. He's kind of running to a slump. He's having a hard time having impact in these team fights. He's 0-4, definitely the worst person, the player that's doing the worst in this mid game section of this game. He was making some plays, getting some CS lead in the early game, but this is exactly what Sejuani wants. She was allowing herself to get bullied in the early game so she could scale up like this. And now there's a fight going in. Rengar puts down an ultimate, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to find a good engage. Ornn does not put his ult down, so nothing comes of that. Another poor engage by LGD, not able to find the fight they want. And Camille split pushing in the bot lane, putting a lot of pressure in the meantime. So I feel like Camille's just going to keep split pushing. They're going to be able to push that with the Baron. They still have the Baron buff, so since that engage was failed, since Rengar failed that engage, since Ornn didn't pop his ult, they're going to go right back to the mid lane and push it as far as they can with Camille in the bot lane, putting pressure on the bot lane. We'll see how much they're going to be able to get with this Baron buff, with their Baron power play. Casting and putting a little bit of damage on somebody. I didn't see who that was, but they put a little bit of damage on somebody, caused a disengage, and now they're on the inhibitor turret. We'll see if LGD wants to fight for this. And Ornn ultimate comes out, is going to try to hit 3 people in the backline. Does hit 3 people, but the engage is not very decisive. And a bunch of CC comes down and kills Rise immediately. That's a lot of damage from Rise, and now it's 2 people. Now it's going to be a wipe. Clister goes down. That's surely going to be it for LGD. They completely wiped. They're completely wiped by JDG. They completely got destroyed in this team fight, and now they're going to go down. This is surely a game. This has escalated so quickly. I cannot even believe. And now JDG is just going to win the match like that. It was 1-1, but now it's over just like that. JDG is going to continue to push the Nexus turrets and put an end to this series. 2-1. JDG beats LGD after 2 very close and hard games. They're able to pull out the win, able to play to their win conditions better, and advance in this tournament. That's it for me. I'll be back tomorrow. Hope y'all had fun. My voice is a little raspy again, but it's all good. I'll see y'all later.